Okay, so in this fourth episode of Minds of Techno, I have Peggy Gou. Well, why do I personally want to talk about Peggy Gou? Well, first of all, she's someone really important to me. And second of all, you might see her with her success right now and just think that's just another pop-up techno artist or whatever, but I do feel like she's someone that's legit as fuck, man. Legit as it comes. Just want to share to you sort of the journey of her and a couple of things here and there. Maybe a track digestion. I'm in France, by the way, and it's cold as hell here. And I'm telling you, man, there's some Italian restaurant here that has better pizza than Italy. So cool. And ice cream here is just like, wow, man. So I do remember this cold day sort of reminds me of that cold season of my life, you know, when I was sort of a little bit quitting music, sort of traditional music, you know. And I was sort of working a lot and, you know, were tough days. So I remember I'll just get high and just watch videos really until I go to sleep and I have to go to work to the next day just because I didn't have too much energy to anything. And I remember just looking at these Korea Seoul sort of walk through street videos at night, just giving me peace, man. Just looking at that infrastructure, the sort of modernization of that sort of futuristic concept in metropolitan and urban areas of Seoul. And it's just breathtaking. Everyone has like a cool style. There's definitely an homogenization there of like the way you handle yourself. That's cool if you can find it that way. But I remember looking at those videos and sort of appreciating that, you know, a lot of countries in Asia, they have that sort of respect for the ancient architecture, you know, and it's not just blend in there. They have been protecting those areas, you know. And you know, on the past they used to have like a lot of, they say it's like bells there that will sound with the wind, but now that they have these huge skyscrapers, of course the wind just goes a little bit more aggressive and violent and creates this sort of unique sound on that city. Remember watching videos of Seoul. Obviously I was listening to techno, so the algo started like throwing me a lot of like Korean producers. And I wouldn't say like I was into everyone, so I started doing my own digging, and I found Park Yin.
너가 뭐 뭐라고 하든 난 그냥 할 거야. 내가 하고자 하는 거 그냥 할 거야. 내가 하고 싶으니까. 그냥 계속 할 거야.
And that was the first one that I found, and I will never forget the moment that I heard that track. It was just mesmerizing. I knew there was something behind the music, you know, something much more deeper than the chords, than the harmony, even much more deeper than the purpose of the creator itself. It was something that was representing that sound of those bells, that wind, that beauty of that city, and I loved it. Shit, man. And I loved it, and I remember I started listening to Jaeji and quickly realized that Korean people, they want to rebuild house again, but with their own terms. You know, they're taking their time, experimenting with hip hop. Even their scratch, their DJs that scratch, they do it differently. I think because of their small hands and the big vinyl, so they develop different techniques as well. And it's awesome. And I remember back when I got into, there were not many Korean DJs that really were producing high level techno that you can play at the club or some shit that was different. So eventually I was gonna arrive with Peggy Gou, and that's why I wanna sort of digest, let's say, some tracks of Peggy Gou. I think I'm gonna go a little bit back And I remember when I listened to Peggy Gou, she had like a really varied catalog already. Okay, let me start with 2016, 606. I just feel like this track is so groovy, so like dark, and I think it separates a little bit from the influences of Peggy and it's a little bit more of her original, and it's just a perfect welcome of her style, you know, really dark, really groovy, really on the grid, but it's sort of mysterious, you know. She's into a lot of like psychotropical music that's crazy, and she speaks about that journey as well. I think that she did like a special clinic, a session there with some folks. She explains you the music that she listens, and it's beautiful music, really. It's music that you feel like it's so mysterious, has so many elements, and it was done back in the day. So with machines and like improvising, and nowadays everything is so systemized that sometimes we lose like that style of making that music, and Peggy Gou has kept it alive, man. Like that type of sort of minimal, psychotropical, housey, sort of dance vibe that's really obscure. There's this EP that's called Art of War Part 2, and I remember when I listened to this track, I couldn't get it out of my mind. Gen High. Track, man. It just felt like it feels like a track that, okay, let me search who's doing this type of music as well, and you won't find that. Nobody makes it like Peggy Gou, at least in my day and age, young people. Sure, there's some people that I have heard and it's cool, but sort of the narrative doesn't evolve to anything. Like Peggy Gou truly makes you like a cool track there. That sort of track, Maktub, for me is just, it sort of put everything into position to me. At that time, I did understand what I felt with the other Korean DJs was not coincidence. I was not crazy either. Just on that track just shows you where she comes from, where she's heading to, and how everything is evolving in that cycle. I cannot believe that track was made in 2016, to be honest. It's totally impossible. That track sounds like something from 3025, man. You gotta listen to that track. I really feel like it's so cool. The story that tells you the group, the building, you know, and it keeps you there. It keeps you sort of in that sort of trip, man. So I love that track. I don't know how many times I listened to it on Spotify, but I love it. And coming from the same place, sort of a more evolved, let's say more minimal track in the terms of dance, and my favorite, Traveling Without Arriving. Track is cool as fuck, man. Just remembers me of those raves on the past that people will just get crazy, man. The ravers demanded space, and you know, their vibe was just different, and you can feel the violence and sort of the ground shaking, you know. Techno was something that was a little bit darker and a little bit for the outcast, I will say as well, man. I love that now it's open to everybody and we have different people involved. I tell you, man, how can a DJ really encapsulate sort of that era, that feeling, and just bring it to you with this type of vibe. So I love that track. So Peggy Gou for me, it's someone really important in techno. So well, she's someone like me as well. I hated school. Her dad sent them to London. You know that in those Asian countries, if you're not like a super perfect genius, man, you know, you will miss a lot of opportunities. And I just feel it's a fucked up mentality, to be honest. Everyone has virtues that are ready to exploit in every area of society, to be honest. Practicality is king. So she goes to London, she starts studying abroad. She gets in love with the club culture, and it just feels like this girl like partying or whatever. But music, when it chooses someone, it doesn't matter. It will hook you. It doesn't matter if it's a club or a concert or a friend or whatever. She gets hooked at that moment, and she decides to take a really important decision. For me, a crucial one. She becomes a DJ. She starts going to Berlin. She starts looking at the scene, and of course, she's a good DJ, but she wants something more. And for me, it's like, fuck, you already have produced all this good music and you still want to evolve more. So, Peggy Gou went and actually studied music. And, let me tell you something, man. When you go and study music that is not like a classical background, you actually go to a college of music, they'll destroy you, man. Doesn't matter how virtuoso, how cool you think you are, there's the perfect place to humble you, You find people that exceed your expectations of what a musician can be. And as well, you want to quit, but as well, you can get distracted so easily. So many musicians, so many people that resonate with what you do. And she finished her career, man. Like, actually, a high percentage of people don't finish their musical careers, Usually the classical ones, when they put them as kids, but it's difficult, man. Graduating, there's a lot of theory, there's a lot of like business and marketing classes. And let me tell you something, I don't know if she has like composition classes, but those ones are the best ones. They're a bit difficult, but those ones are cool, like the jazz composition and everything, and that has to do with her evolution and how everything paid off. See Peggy Gou right now, sort of being this global DJ and having the world at her feet, but at the end it's just not only hard work, but sort of in that sense, changing your paradigm, saying like, why do I need to study music if I'm a DJ, right? But it was sort of the composition element, sort of saying, okay, I have these colors, but I need to understand music in a broader way. And as I tell you, she's a humble cat, man. Like, the music theory that she knows is legit. If you graduated from there, you need to be a legit cat. So she doesn't handle herself like trying to prove everyone wrong or this or that. She makes her music, and it goes like, I was really happy when it dropped because I was listening the first time and I said, this is gonna be a global hit. It's a perfect track that just describes Peggy Gou, It has it sort of have that evolution of dance music as well, and house and techno, sort of putting what was sounding at the moment, and as well it has this nostalgia. It just brings me nostalgia, and you can see sort of the chords on the piano having that distinctive dissonance, having that dissonance. So those dissonant chords, those inversions that you cannot go so crazy on a techno production because it's more oriented to dance music, but she sneaks it in there. So I loved it. As I tell you, I listen to Peggy Gou's music and I'm like, incredible. These are pieces of art, really, not just tracks. You can listen it in beat or put it there in a club. These tracks will transcend in what she has done for techno, for music, for her career, for the Korean culture as well. It's invaluable. So I think that Peggy Gou is one of the most important minds of techno. For this rendition, Minds of Techno, Peggy Gou.